Hello, Gunner James 105. So after many years of losing track of a seller that used to have a store in a city about 20 miles from my home, I finally found him. It was through a relative's relative that had discovered this little store that was only open. It's sort of a little antique mall, and it's only open on the Saturdays and Sundays. And so I had gone into this store because there was someone there selling military items, I was told. And I'll be darned if it wasn't the fella I knew from this store years ago who had opened up rented a little area in there. And the box that you see, that red and blue box, was one of many things that my son-in-law and I, have picked up recently for the collection. This thing's pretty unique. I've never seen this before. Matter of fact, I didn't even really know it existed until I found it in his store. So we made a deal on this, among many other things. So we sort of did a grouping and said, okay, well, we take this. And so we did quite well. And there's these other items that I'm mentioning I will get to in other videos that we picked up at that time. Some of them are quite amazing. Well, they're all quite amazing. This is a Cadet rifle, or Cadets of America rifle set. And so to begin with, the 1903 Springfield that you see on the table, when World War II broke out and the US then in 1941 became involved, so December 7th, that's when things had to get moving as far as training and materials, equipment. It was quite a panic situation, because what was happening prior to the U.S. involvement in the war is they were sending a lot of their firearms to England and to other countries to help out in the war effort. And that left them with kind of a severe shortage of military firearms at the start of the war. So the 1903 Springfield design was picked up as an idea for a training rifle in that configuration. And the company Paris Dunn Corporation, they were building wind generators. That was their business, and they're building them for farmers, etc. And so this William G. Dunn and Cecil L. Paris company, they formed a company in 1937. And when war broke out, their business and what they're building as far as these wind generators were considered non-essential. They were allowed to make parts for them, to repair them, but they were approached by the U.S. government to build training rifles. And so it was the Army that initially started that, and they were July of 1942, the U.S. Army ordered 35,000 of these training rifles, and they were known as the, I think it was a Mark I rifle. So I don't have an example of that actual training rifle. I have the real deal, the 1903 Springfield, and I have what came after World War II, which was the Cadets, and that's Cadets with a K, Cadets of America training rifle. So I'll just finish off a little bit of the history regarding that contract. They had that 35,000 that they had ordered, $166,000 worth. That was July 1942. And then in August, the Navy ordered 190,000. And they wanted a few, that 190,000, I believe, was in the neighborhood of $903,000 worth. And they wanted to have a bayonet lug, and it ended up they were getting plastic bayonets and scabbards that were the things they wanted. I'm not sure, there were some other differences, but that was the main one from the Army. And so by October 1942, the Army contract was complete. And then the Navy, they were done in November. And then in January 1943, the Navy ordered another 110,000. And that contract was completed in June, I believe. So with the 110,000 plus the 190,000, so 300,000 of these rifles were completed for the United States Navy. And initially they were $4.75 each. Then they started running out of walnut. They went to, I'm not sure what kind of wood, but it lowered the cost then to $4.37. And so I think it was working out to something like a build of around 3,000 a day. So this is the kind of the basis for the further development of what's in the box there. So what they decided then after the war, these guys, this William Dunn and Cecil L. Paris, or at least Paris, had decided that he was wanting to continue this program. And between the late 40s and 60s, they built about 200,000 civilian rifles for drill corps schools or ROTC programs. And so they were very similar to the military version. They were about 3 pounds lighter. And so I'm looking at old catalogs on that, and they're showing 4 different versions. So they had a K21, a K23, or I think they had, so the K21 was like a 30-inch rifle, the K23 was 33, and then you had your MK, which was 39 inches, and they were selling those, I think it was $3.30 for the 30-incher, just under $4 for the 33-incher, and for the full length, or sorry, I should say the 39-inch was like $5. But then they come out with this M30SR, which was 43 inches, which pretty much is identical to the real deal that is in front of the camera here. And those ones were going for about $6. So they had a cadet handbook that came out. I think there was even a cadet song. They had also there was rubber bayonets, and I'm looking at a couple right now on eBay. They're kind of expensive, but yeah. So they had the I think it was 15 cents extra, which started being available in 1958, and that was with a white stock. So I'm going to open up the box, and you will see that we have to have a 1958 or later version of the trainer rifle, since it became available, as I said, in 1958. So here's just one example. I'll pull both of them out. And you can see that the length on these is the same, and you can see it comes with a nice little, that's a web, nice heavy web material for the sling. And the other one then is in pretty much the same condition. Sadly, the sight is missing. I don't know if I'll ever be able to find that, but I've seen pictures of them on the internet. Much of this is like a nickel-plated, the barrel. These barrel bands are just basically painted. That looks like tape. There's no plastic anywhere. This is all wood and metal. This is nickel-plated as well. This little caulking piece, which is just there for looks, is wood. And what's interesting is they have a wooden bullet, and that just stays attached. So you've got this wooden bullet, and then when you caulk it, it's spring-loaded, and you get a little click. So you can feel that spring. Push that back. You bring her forward and click. So we've got our early model eye stock finger grooves. You can see again, very, very similar in look, but a heck of a lot lighter than the real rifle. And then we have this label. The earlier ones had a much larger label, different type of label. It does have a metal plate, butt plate on it. and this little screw that I don't know what that notch is for. It doesn't really come into effect, but there's that action. And again, click. But this is all, it's all metal. No plastic on this whatsoever. So I'll give you a close look at that. So that trainer rifle basically is all one word, Cadets of America. And for some reason, on both of these, the name, so we've got Savannah, Texas. Let me see. My eyes aren't good enough, but on there we've got Savannah, Tennessee. Sorry, Savannah, Texas. Savannah, Tennessee, and but the Paris manufacturing company portion has been scratched out. I don't know why, but maybe somebody thought that had to do with Paris, France, and they didn't like that. I have no idea, but so this cadet rifle, they founded this organization, Cadets of America organization. They founded that in 1953, and that was Mr. Paris came up with that to encourage boys and girls. They wanted them to get interested in a drill team, and so pretty much up to about 1970, this program was going, and then it ended. And like a lot of things, whether it be the old G.I. Joe toys and things like that, the Vietnam War caused this to be not, it's basically the anti-war sentiment caused these things and a lot of other things, military, to cease or to end. But other than that, I will go on to a next little piece, a little bonus piece that I'm going to add on. Before I get to that, I used to be in, well, actually, I'll end it now, then I'll do a part 2. So, hang tight. Thanks for watching. Hello, Gunner James 105. So, part 2 of the trainer rifle or drill rifle, mostly drill rifle. That's what the two white painted Springfield Cadet Rifles of America video that I just did. When I was in Air Cadets, we're going back over 45 years ago, we had 303 Enfields, and they were the 22 version, so they were the number 7s. And back then, they were the full wood, everything rifle, just like so, but in 22 caliber. And so we would have our rifle drill, and we would march with the rifles, and on Remembrance Day, of course, we would have parade, and we'd have different things having to do with rifles. And at the end of the season, so you would go from basically the school calendar, so you'd be from September until the end of June, and then you were done for the summer, and you would have summer camp available to you. So the last parade would be all our families would come in, and we would do different, we would do marches and inspection, and then we had at one point we had boxing, and we had the rifle drill. So there were some of us, myself included, that put together this little rifle drill thing. And I was trying to remember some of the moves, or some of the things that we did back then, and just give you a little demonstration. At that time, this is an actual Air Cadet belt, and this is all brass with the, so very much the same as a 37 pattern, but all in plastic. So that's a plastic belt, and that's like a ceremonial type belt. And at the same time, we had these, so these are actual Air Cadet gloves. So that was part of your drill, as well as the little white gloves. And so with the normal stand at ease, and then you would come to attention, and you would bring your rifle up, shoulder, this is shoulder, arms, and then you could do a salute, present arms, and so on. And then of course you're going to bringing your rifle down like so. So we had come up with this thing a little different, where, if I can remember correctly, we would take the rifle and bring it down like so. And we might have had a fancy move for that too, I'm not sure. But we would kick the rifle out, bring it up like so, and throw the rifle to the person across from us. So I think there were 4 of us doing this at least, maybe 6. One would throw under, one would throw over. You had to make sure you got that right, because 2 rifles colliding would not look good. And so it would be tossed. I would toss it, and the other person would toss it, and you'd end up catching it then. And then the next move was something like, we would catch it like so, and then it was basically like this, and so something like that. So it was just some fancy moves, but we could have where normally you're going to bring it like so, we would flip it up with our shoulder, so you just kind of flip it. And so just some of the things that I think that the Cadets of America program was teaching, that type of thing, this fancy drill. You're spinning this thing, you're doing all kinds of different fancy moves. So just thought I'd give you that from my youth when I used to do that type of thing. So thanks for watching.